how to enunciate them, because you will be verifying addresses and you need to know how to enunciate them properly. So what's our objective for this module? Grace, first bullet please.
Identify general information about the U.S.
Alright, thank you. And Renz?
Understand and appreciate general U.S. culture.
So we're going to talk about the U.S. culture, talk about information. Jen?
Identify the time differences in the 4 regions of the U.S.
Alright, so we're going to talk about the different time zones. You don't need to calculate. You will have your PC times, but you would need to know the difference because it also affects your schedule, alright, in the future. And Haj?
Be familiar with general U.S. geography and landmarks.
Alright, so we'll talk about different geography, the different things about the geography of the U.S. and landmarks. And last, Mel?
Discuss
Filipinoisms.
Filipinoism.
What are terms that we use that are actually, that Americans don't understand? Alright, so let's talk about general information about the U.S. So North America is actually bordering the North Atlantic Ocean and North Pacific Ocean between Canada and Mexico. So we're talking about North America alone, alright? So roughly it's at 9,834,000, that's supposed to have 3, oh my god, square meters, and it has 50 states. The capital is Washington, D.C. Please do not be confused with Washington State and Washington, D.C. Can you everybody say Washington?
Washington.
So we don't wash our clothes, we wash our clothes, alright? So if you talk to an American, normally they'll just say D.C. D.C. is not part of the capital because that's where the House of Power is. They are trying to get a hold of, let's say it's going to be part of Carolina or what have you, but nobody can get a hold of it because that's where the power is. So it's a standalone, okay? Star-Spangled Banner, I think you guys have heard that if you've watched boxing and what have you, so they play that. The bald eagle, that's an example of the bald eagle, right? That's their national animal, and the currency is the US dollar. So we don't say dollar, it's dollar, alright? So, let's talk about phone number formats. Here in the Philippines, you can determine if it's a mobile phone or if it's we don't call it landline, they call it a home phone. They don't call it cell phone, they call it mobile phone number, alright? So those are terminologies that only Filipinos use. It will look the same in the US. You can't determine if it's a mobile phone or if it's a home phone, alright? So they have 3-digit area codes and 7-digit phone numbers. Are you guys aware of what toll-free numbers are? 1-800. So if it's a 1-800 and in the US, if they dial that, they're not being charged for it. So that's a toll-free number. So toll-free numbers would start with 1-800, 1-888, 1-866, and 1-877. Alright? So address formats, this is the proper address format they normally give. Their name first, their street address, city, state zip, and their 5-digit zip code. So they have here, Uncle Sam, Avenue, everybody say Avenue.
Avenue.
Alright, so if you're going to confirm, you need to know how to say it properly. So Avenue is A-V-E. Everybody say Boulevard.
Boulevard.
Not boule, bulla.
Boulevard.
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 Alright, not boulevard, alright? So Boulevard.
Boulevard.
Alright? So this is B-L-V-D. Everybody say center.
Center.
So we don't say center anymore, alright? So it's C-T-R. Everybody say drive.
Drive.
So this is an example of a street as well. Highway.
Highway.
Alright, so it's H-W-A-Y. Everybody say parkway.
Parkway.
P-K-Y, street.
Street.
Alright, and road.
Road.
So street and road are normally common for us, but the rest are not. Okay? So these are things that you might want to be aware of. Questions? None? Alright, so let's talk about states, capital cities, and postal codes. Whoops, it went up. So this is the US. Sometimes they just use their postal code like, oh, okay, what is have you. And you need to know how to decipher and pronounce them properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through them, right? The city is here. This is the name of the state. Alright? So I'm going to read them. You repeat after me. Everybody say Alaska.
Alaska. Extract.
You know.
Geno.
So it's like, you know that, this and that, right? So that's how it sounds like. Okay? Alabama.
Alabama.
Now it's Montgum, like the gum that you chew. Okay? Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Good. Arizona.
Arizona.
Not Remember, every time it starts with the letter A, it's always the sound. So Arizona.
Arizona.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Not fe, long E. Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And it's a letter F sound. So every time a word starts with a PH, it's always F. Phoenix. One more time.
Phoenix.
Good. Arkansas.
Arkansas.
So we don't say Arkansas anymore, right? So it's a W. So everybody say Arkansas again.
Arkansas.
Not Arkansas. Arkansas. Like you're sawing something. So it's gonna look like this.
Arkansas.
Can you see it? If I write here.
Arkansas. Arkansas.
Arkansas. K-E-N. Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Alright, there you go. Alright. Now everybody say Little Rock.
Little Rock.
California.
California.
Not Cali, California.
California.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go.
California.
Sacramento.
Sacramento.
Colorado.
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 Not the ra. You're going back to your a, e, u, o, u. Colorado.
Colorado.
Not a. O. O. Remember, like. All right. Good. Colorado.
Colorado.
I'm still hearing a. Everybody say o. Colorado.
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 There. Denver.
Denver.
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Hartford.
Hartford.
Delaware.
Delaware.
Dover.
Dover.
Florida.
Florida.
Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Now, only in the Philippines do we say Hawaii. It's actually Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Everybody say Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Honolulu.
Honolulu.
Iowa.
Iowa.
So this is a French city, so everybody say Des Moines.
Des Moines.
Idaho.
Idaho.
Boise.
Boise.
Since it's in between two vowel sounds, it becomes a Z. Illinois.
Illinois.
So we don't say Illinois, we're going back to issue again. It's IH. Illinois.
Illinois.
Springfield.
Springfield.
Indiana.
Indiana.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Topeka.
Topeka.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Frank, not Kentucky Fried Chicken, alright? Kentucky. Tuck.
Kentucky.
Say tuck.
Tuck.
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Good. Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
Louisiana.
Louisiana.
So it's a Z sound. Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Good. Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge.
So just like your Lawton, right? Baton Rouge. So they don't say it. Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Again, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Boston.
Boston.
Alright. Maryland.
Maryland.
So they don't say land, it's always a U. Maryland.
Maryland.
Alright. Annapolis.
Annapolis.
Maine.
Maine.
Augusta.
Augusta.
Michigan.
Michigan.
Lansing.
Lansing.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
St. Paul.
St. Paul.
Missouri.
Missouri.
Not me, I again, not your issue, it's a shoe. So Missouri.
Missouri.
So some people who are from we normally say Missouri over the US, but some people who are from Missouri, locals in Missouri, they say Missouri. But just keep to Missouri. Alright? You might hear it, okay? Jefferson City.
Jefferson City.
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Jackson.
Jackson.
Montana.
Montana.
Helena.
Helena.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
So we don't say Carol. Everybody say Carol.
Carroll.
Carolina.
Carolina.
There. Raleigh.
Raleigh.
So it's like a rally. North Dakota.
North Dakota.
Bismarck.
Bismarck.
Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
We never ever say new. Only Filipinos say new. It's new. So everybody say New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Trenton.
Trenton.
New Mexico,
New Mexico,
Santa Fe,
Santa Fe,
Nevada,
Nevada,
Carson City,
Carson City,
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
Okay, we went back to A, E, I, O, U, ham. So it's Hamp.
Hamp,
Your air, alright? Hampshire,
New
New Hampshire.
Hampshire,
Again, I'm still hearing Hamp here. Again, drop your jaws. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire,
Alright, Concord,
Concord,
New York,
New York,
Albany,
Albany,
Ohio,
Ohio,
Columbus,
Columbus,
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma,
Oklahoma City,
Oklahoma City,
Oregon,
Oregon,
Salem,
Salem,
Pennsylvania,
Pennsylvania,
Harrisburg,
Harrisburg,
Rhode Island,
Rhode Island,
Providence,
Providence,
South Carolina,
South Carolina,
Columbia,
Columbia,
again,
Columbia,
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 alright, South Dakota,
South Dakota,
Pierre,
Pierre,
Tennessee,
Tennessee,
Nashville,
Nashville,
Texas,
Texas,
Austin,
Austin,
not ow, aw, again, Austin,
Austin,
good, Utah,
Utah,
Salt Lake City,
Salt Lake City,
Vermont,
Vermont,
Montpelier,
Montpelier,
Virginia,
Virginia,
Richmond,
Richmond,
Washington,
Washington,
Olympia,
Olympia,
Wisconsin,
Wisconsin,
Madison,
Madison,
West Virginia,
West Virginia,
Charleston,
Charleston,
Wyoming,
Wyoming.
Cheyenne. Are we still in standard time? No, because it's already April. So for standard time, they are negative 13 hours starting from Eastern. Where is the Eastern time zone? Here. So this is New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, anything that's in orange. All right, that portion is minus 13 hours from us. So far, so good. Okay, so if it's 5 p.m. in Manila, what time is it in Eastern Standard Time? Minus 13 hours. 4 a.m. Because 12 hours is 5 a.m. the previous day, minus 1 hour is 4 a.m. Now, every time you go another time zone, going towards this time zone, you minus 1 hour. So, if it's 4 a.m. in Eastern Time Zone, what time is it in Central? 3 a.m. What time is it in Mountain? 2 a.m. What time is it in Pacific? 1, Alaska, and Hawaii. 11 p.m. All right. So be careful. You might get confused with a.m. and p.m. All right. So I'm not going to make you guys know how to calculate this because you're going to have your clocks. It's just a nice to know for you guys. All right. So what does it say next? Let's have Carmi.
In the U.S., clocks change at 2 a.m. local time.
Local.
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 Local time on the second Sunday of March. Time moves forward an hour.
Hour.
Hour. On the first Sunday of November, time moves back an hour.
Continue.
DST is not observed in Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, the Virgin Islands, and Arizona.
All right. So these are exemptions to the rule. So right now we are in DST, as they call it, or daylight savings time. So clock moves forward an hour. If in standard time we're negative 13 hours, then what is Eastern Standard Time now? Minus, because it moves forward an hour. So it's minus 12 hours. So negative 13 plus 1 is negative 12. So meaning they're 12, because of DST, they are now minus 12 hours behind us. Alright? So Eastern Standard Time is negative 12 hours. So if it's 5 p.m. in Manila, what time is it in Eastern Standard Time? 5 a.m. Because remember, 5 to 5 is 12 hours. Alright? What time is it in Central? 4 a.m. Be careful. What time is it in Mountain?
3
a.m. Alright. Pacific? 2 a.m. Alaska?
1
And how about Hawaii?
12
12 a.m. Are you sure? But what does it say? DST is not observed in Hawaii. So it stays the same at 11 p.m. So far so good? So this is their time. So mostly, you'll just be supporting the specific time zone. Alright? So let's talk about holidays. So they have certain holidays in the US that they celebrate. The first is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Who knows who Martin Luther King is? Anybody?
It's a black American who did a
Who?
speech. He did a speech about I have a dream.
Yes, but what was he famous for? That's right.
He's an activist in black equality.
That's right. So he was the known to fight for, he's the person who fought for, not really racist, he wasn't racist, American rights. We don't call them blacks because that's being racist. Afro-Americans, especially, hey, what's up, nigga? If you're not black yourself, you do not say that. It's like us. We like to discriminate our own as well. If we say Bisaya, right? We like to do that. If you're from Ilocos, oy, kuripot, right? So we discriminate our own as well. So they do not practice that, right? So he was the first person to actually fight for Afro-American rights. His counterpart was Rosa Parks. She was a black American who refused because back in the day, if a white person gets on a bus, a black person cannot ride on the bus with any white person. They are considered a level down. So she did not want to get off the bus, and she fought for her right. So she's the counterpart of Martin Luther King, alright? So it's celebrated every third Monday in January. We have Groundhog Day. Groundhog looks like that. So people know that, you know how it's winter, it's all cold? So normally it's like a mole that hibernates. So if groundhogs come out, it normally means that spring is here. Alright? We have President's Day, of course, celebrating the first president, George Washington. St. Patrick's Day is normally an Irish holiday, but it's an excuse for them to get drunk as well, right? Where you see all green parades and what have you. We have Patriots Day. What are Patriots Day? What are patriots? Any idea?
Soldiers.
Soldiers that?
During the Civil War.
Do you think so?
No.
Any idea? Cold War? Who has an idea? What are patriots? No idea?
Freedom fighters.
Freedom fighters. Who else? Any other ideas? What are patriots?
Defense.
Depends on what.
Defense. Country's defense.
Huh? What are patriots? Pete, do you know what patriots are?
Soldiers.
Soldiers who were part of the bombing. Alright.
Pearl Harbor.
Oh, they have the movie of that.
Have you guys watched Patriots Day?
Yes.
Yeah. So what was the story about? You said yes with the confidence. So you said yes with the confidence.
It's a hard.
We were not able to finish.
There was, I think there on the movie there was an event. There, a racing. I don't know how you call it, but
There was a bombing.
yeah, there was a bombing and lots of the enforcement on the police who hunt the one who put the bomb.
Okay. So it's more of celebrating those people who helped out. All right. Memorial Day.
World War.
Memorial.
So in the event you have work on Christmas Eve, if there's an announcement, there you go. All right. If it doesn't fall on a weekend, usually it's like that, right?
They follow U.S. holiday.
They follow U.S. holidays. So you will be following U.S. holidays. We will be following We will be following US holidays, alright? So it's something that you need to know as well. Holy Week, they don't celebrate that, right? So it's not like us here in the Philippines, because we were more influenced by the Spanish. They don't celebrate that. Okay? Questions? So let's talk about popular famous landmarks in the US. So we have, what is this known as?
The Liberty Statue.
The Statue of Liberty. This was given to the US by whom?
By the French.
By the French. And how many statues of liberties do we have in the world that originally replicas? There's a lot, but mainly there are two. That since this was built by the French, there are two in France. One in front. There's one on a river, but the most notorious is next to the Eiffel Tower. It's near.
National.
Suit. There. So you can see it. They're in a park. Here, there. But the biggest Statue of Liberty given by the French is in New York. It's as a peace offering. Alright. But of course, there's a lot of replicas in Macau, in Baba now. But, originally produced by the French. Okay?
We also have here in Manila.
Where?
It's a shoe.
Oh my gosh! That is so no! That is so no. Alright. What is this?
The Golden Gate.
The Golden Gate Bridge. The reason why it's known for its color is the vermilion orange. This is a kind of orange. When the sun sets, it's known to have a good effect on the sunset. Alright? And we have the Sin City, Las Vegas Strip. So this is where whatever happens in Las Vegas is there.
We also have here in Manila.
Where?
Cubao.
Aso. No, it's okay, we understand. Alright, and we have
Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, which has the 4 presidents. Right? And New York City. New York is different from New York City. This is where in New York City?
New York.
Times Square. You know how Filipinos are imitators? We copied where they dropped the ball there in Eastwood. That's where it came from. So there, that's where it came from. And we have
Disneyland.
Disney Park. It's actually Disneyland Park or Disneyland. So this is where, of course, he's the person, Walt Disney. Have you seen his quotes wherein he failed a lot of times with his projects here? Nobody believed in him, and look at him now, right? Okay. And we have where the rich and famous shop.
Where were the deals? One whole.
Rodeo Drive. Alright, so this is where they want you to try to rephrase what you said. Don't just keep saying, I said blah blah blah, I said blah blah blah. It's just gonna trigger, a fight between you and American. Okay? Americans love to talk about sports. What is this? Of course, basketball. Who's your favorite basketball team? Nobody watches basketball here? GSW.
Basketball.
Alright, so there for those. This is, of course,
Soccer.
soccer. This is
Baseball.
baseball. This is
American football.
American football. For British, they call it rugby. Right. And then we have hockey. So we have the different associations. They love sports. They're fanatics of sports, and that could also be your trigger to talk about sports if ever they talk to you about it. Alright? When we address people, we would normally, on an interview, you would normally call them by their first name. That's fine. You don't use Miss. Only Filipinos do this. It's a Filipinoism, right? Miss, and then the first name of the person. That's inappropriate. Only Filipinos do that. Alright? So, BPO experience, providing service, versus you're the one who's in control of the call. Alright? But if they say, hey, can you just call me Dr. Thompson? Don't give attitude, right? Alright, Dr. Thompson. Okay. Why? There are some people, you have to understand. In the US, as early as 18, you're thrown out of the house. Here in the Philippines, you have grandkids, you're still in your parents' houses. There, you have to live on your own. You get kicked out. So there are people, at the age of 18, they're working and they're studying.